What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Episode 2 of the So You Want to Be a Powerlifter series. In this episode, we're going to talk about raw versus equipped. What are they? What does it mean? Do you equip? Do you raw? That is the question. Raw refers to lifts performed without the use of supportive equipment. Now, what supportive equipment is changes depending on what federation you compete in. So in 100% raw, like I said earlier, there is no thing on the knees. You're not allowed to use sleeves, you're not allowed to use wraps. Knees must be bare in 100% raw. That's what makes it 100% raw. In the IPF, you're allowed to use knee sleeves, but not knee wraps if you're calling yourself a classic lifter. In a lot of the other federations, they may do both, but often the big distinction is that they will allow raw lifters to use knee wraps. The other items that are generally accepted as raw are gonna be your belt, your wrist wraps, and your singlet. Your singlet is not a suit. So you might be wondering, what is supportive equipment? Well, supportive equipment consists of your squat suit, your bench shirt, and your deadlift suit. Okay, so now we're gonna talk a little bit more about equipment. Now, equipped, we use things that kind of look like singlets, so it can be a little bit confusing as to what the heck is exactly going on. This here is a squat suit. It's very, very thick nylon with a bunch of seams and reinforced stuff all over it, all through the hips and crotch. And you can see there's not a lot of stretch to it. I think a lot of people maybe mistake squat suits and bench shirts and stuff for material that's more like what you would see on a slingshot or a Titan Ram or whatever, one of those things. It is nothing like that. This is pretty uncompromising material. So I can sit here and talk a whole bunch about what squat suits do, but instead what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna get myself into it with the help of what's called a suit slipper. So suit slipper is rougher material on the inside, a little bit smoother material on the outside. It's gonna help you slide your suit or shirt on if you're maybe sweaty between lifts and a meet. Here we go. Usually goes on pretty easy. Well, here I am in my squat suit. Now, essentially what this does is restricts you from moving. I'll show you guys from the side. So the straps create tension against your butt and your hips, and these leg cuffs, I don't know if you can see them, are very tight on my quads. So if I try to squat, it's essentially stopping me about there. Now, this is not even a really tight suit because I'm somewhat of a novice at the equipped lifting. I choose not to use a super tight suit because the tighter the suit, the more it's gonna stop you, the more weight you're gonna need to get down. So therefore, the stronger and the more technical you need to be in your suit. Next up is the bench shirt. So the bench shirt is made of very similar material to the squat suit on the front, but the back is just a thin cloth material similar to what you'd see on a singlet or something like that. Again, very, very stiff nylon material throughout, and this is a super katana. So we have a little bit of a reinforced collar here, which is where a lot of the force gets translated through when you're benching. I'll show you how that goes. All right, so this is a bench shirt. Essentially what it's gonna do is it's gonna act like a really tight, not stretching slingshot. So what happens is I'm gonna attempt to lower the bar, and you can see I get about a ½ inch. So you need a lot of weight, and the further you move down this way, the more you can kind of get down to your belly. So there's a combination of techniques people use to try to get a touch, but that's why you see a lot of people struggle, because the bench shirt is essentially stopping you from getting to your chest. So when you do get to your chest, it gives you a fair bit of spring off the bottom. This here is a bench belt, so it's a specially made thin belt that's more designed to help keep the shirt down than it is to actually help me build intra-abdominal pressure. Up next is the deadlift suit. And like all equipment, it goes on instantaneously. And here's the deadlift suit. So the deadlift suit is cut slightly differently from a squat suit. The straps are a little bit thicker, and as well, I believe the legs are maybe a little bit shorter. But in any way, it's designed to it's designed to stop you from being able to bend forward. So as you can see, I'm hanging my whole body weight against it. Hey, Bronson. And I can't get down to the ground. I can't reach the bar. Being in a sumo stance helps you get into a bit of a better position with it, but again, that's about as far down as I can get. So it takes some effort to kind of pull yourself down to the bar, and the energy that gets stored in the suit as you pull down to the bar, you can then use to help you get the bar off the floor. Of all three, deadlift suits are probably gonna offer the least amount of assistance. You'll see guys who are really good in deadlift suits get maybe 40 to 70 pounds out of it, whereas with a squat suit and a bench shirt, you can get a lot more, talking 200 plus pounds in some cases. Just a quick sort of once over for multiply lifters. The difference being the suits are made of multiple plies, as the name would imply. And also, they often wear what are called briefs underneath. So briefs would essentially mimic if I cut this suit right here and put another seam across the belly, and then put a suit on over top of that. That's what most multiply lifters will wear for their squat and their deadlift. Although there are a lot of instances, I believe, of multiply lifters wearing single ply stuff in some cases. And that's it for our quick run through of what equipment is. If anybody's wondering, equipment does not go on this easily. There's a lot of struggling behind the scenes here. But anyways, back to me. And lastly, something that needs to be considered for raw or equipped lifters. If you're lifting in the IPF, they have what they call their approved brands. Now, there's been a lot of discussion about this. In my opinion, it is a bit of a cash grab. Maybe there's some ethics there, but honestly, they have more money. They're able to do more for the sport. They're able to run a more cohesive organization. They're able to put on higher caliber events. So in my opinion, yes, it's a bit of a cash grab, but I think it's going to a good cause. So if you're wondering what those approved brands are, the biggest ones are Inzer, SBD, and Titan. If you're wondering where you can get some of those, we're gonna put some links in the description below for you guys as a resource. That's it for this video. Moving on to the next one, we're gonna be covering registering for a meet. Super exciting, and we'll see you then.